with the orcs and that sort of thing, though? Has it been conceptually hard before you saw the drawings and all the animatics and that sort of stuff for you to get in your head what you were going to look like, you know, when you were standing on the set and thinking, okay, well, I'm about 2 foot taller or whatever?
Yeah, I mean, again, going to the type of acting you choose to do, the way I look, I try and leave. You know, you have costume designers, you have hair designers, you have makeup designers when you're playing a human. On this, you have such an incredible team at ING to create that kind of work. I leave the look. The voice was very difficult for me. I needed a voice that had a nobility to it without forcing any of these nobility, earthly, you know, leadership. I had to find that voice that was totally separate from Orgrim, totally separate from Black Hand and am I allowed to mention Black Hand and Gul'dan, right? They're all
Yeah, we know.
Cool.
When you're shooting it, do you at any moment feel like a little bit ridiculous when you got to do some orc stuff? That you got to be big with the voice and the gestures, and you know it's gonna look good when you're an orc.
But you're in great pajamas.
when you're just you in great pajamas, it looks like
a skinny
guy. Is there a bit of self-consciousness that you have to get over?
You do, absolutely. Yeah, you hit the nail on the head. You have to alleviate yourself of that part of your ego that wonders if your willy still looks big in your grey pajamas. You know, you've got to move on from that nonsense. That's the point, and that's why it was so hard to find a voice that wasn't just a voice, that was you know what I mean? It was like something that actually had some authority to it and some peace as well. You know, he's supposed to be the person to quell the storm rather than, you know, add fuel to the fire. So
he's like the best orc ever.
He is the best orc ever.
He really is.
The character is so well known in the Warcraft universe, so when you prepare for a role like this, do you focus just on the script and try to come up really with your own, you know, interpretation of how you want to play for the role, or do you actually start reading up and research and...
You've got to do both. I mean, not to promote my past career, but I played Rob Gretton, who had already died at the point of playing him in a film called Control, Anton Corbijn directed. Rob was a beloved character. I mean, he's like beyond a national hero in England, and specifically in Manchester, which is only 120 miles from my hometown. So you have to give something, you have to give a character that's existed something that is so accurate to the fans, to the ideology of it, but it has to stem from those bits of yourself. And, you know, your job as an actor really is to understand the 50 things that are fathomable about a decision in a person's life. So you have to be able to fathom why a human or an orc or whatever character you're playing would do and take this journey and that choice. So you don't leave it, you know, you don't, oh, let me study and see what these are, yeah, that's great, so let me now watch, you know, you're sitting there all day, and the reason you're so lonely as an actor is you're talking to you, people like, you what? And I'm like, huh? No, I wasn't talking to you at all, I was pretending to be an orc whilst taking a poo. So it's constantly with you, so you have to have them all available, because otherwise you let so many people down. And especially when you work in this field with the type of people we're working with, you know, Atlas and Legendary are already fans, and they've already actually got a team of people who've already done more research than you could have feasibly done in your entire existence. And so you have all of that at your fingertips. So again, losing your ego about it, you have to just ask for the help and ask for the resources and ask for the information. But at the same time, it has to stem from that piece of yourself. Firstly, to make it as unique as you possibly can, because we're like everybody. There's always a character trait, and you're like, oh, you're just like my mate so-and-so. So you have to take that bit of yourself and either accentuate it or depress it, you know, subdue it. So I hope, to answer your question with some simplicity, that he's unique and original, but at the same time true to what he is depicted at or, you know, described as.
Did you read any of the books?
I didn't read any of the books.
You should read
No.
Eyes of the Lord.
Yeah, I should have.
It's about him when he's growing up.
Yeah, and that's the thing. It's like Robert was saying, that was such a nice resource to have, was Rob. You know, so when I'd make a decision about something, he's like, oh, it's just like that bit in, you know, the fall of... I'm like, oh, yeah,
Sure.
no, of course it is. So, I mean, it's that thing that most of us really only take a certain select number of paths through our upbringing to get to the point of what we become. So it's nice to know his outcome and what he actually is, because there's really, you know, even if it's many and varied, there's really only a selection of those many and varied paths to get to that place that Durotan is. So Yes, I should have. Time is extremely
it's just a
I
good
will do,
read.
yeah, exactly, yeah, to
It's
enjoy
just
my
a good
life.
read.
Yeah, and it's always nicer to do that for your personal life than to stress it for this, because then I'll be fixated and be like, no, there was this one time as a child, and then be like, okay, but that's irrelevant because this is happening now. He has to have a fight. Yeah, but as a child, he was. Okay, guy.
Can
Little
you
dirt
talk
Terry.
about your relationship with Terry Notary?
Yeah,
because
go on.
obviously,
My relationship.
yeah, we know all about that. No, no, but obviously, Planet of the
very
Apes.
soft. Yeah, Terry has guided me through my movement as Koba. Koba was a massively daunting task. When I was watching Coco the Gorilla, and I'd watched Project Nim, but that didn't have any information for me, and then I was able to source material of released lab apes, contained lab apes, and then lab apes who were released. There was some in Germany and there was some in Louisiana. I say some, there were 75 in Louisiana released into a big park that they created. And that was the work I was doing, as I said, like on The Voice. What's important for me for all of those is getting the essence of the thing correct so that his decisions come from a central place. Terry is that person who can teach the puppeteering of the person, so when you see Terry and Andy work together, even because he's given such a position of privilege to go up to Andy and be like, I'm going to do this with Rocket, what are you doing with Caesar in this scene, and seeing that and realizing that's what you could do with Andy, because he's like the grandmaster, and it's always like that. You go to a martial arts class and the actual grandmaster never teaches you anything. You're like, when's he going to teach us something? Just, I'm an English teacher and you're going to do this, when's he going to teach me something? It was nice, but Terry opens that door to you, so Terry, I already had this relationship with Terry secure, so that I could go to him with very exposed questions about what I was thinking his journey would be as Durotan, and then Terry being like, cool, so keep that centered, that's the same, that even that feeling is not going to change his balance of the way he's walking into this. And it's always nice to have Terry there to give you a little thumbs up, because there's a take in Planet of the Apes that was 4 minutes long, and I'm 6'2", and I have to crouch down to 5'4". And that's hard on the thighs, man. Is Daniel here today?
No.
That's a shame. Daniel plays Gul'dan. And Gul'dan had to crouch and be, in his movement and have this kind of thing. He's like, oh, my thighs. I was like, yeah. But there's a 4-minute take in Planet of the Apes where I walk into a human building when they're all out. I hop down 3 stairs, I crawl along, I explore the whole thing, and then I get caught. And I have to stand. They have all their dialogue, and then I come at them. 4 minutes, dude. I mean, at least 19 angles. It was killing me. So it's nice to have someone there who understands the pain of it. I mean, he's only, what's Terry, like 3 foot? Terry's only 3 foot tall. But it was nice to have someone who gives you a thumbs up. It's like a coach. It's like having a coach, something. If you're boxing or something, having someone who understands your pain and understands that thing, so you can let that be separate from what you're trying to do with the dialogue and the intention of the thing, and just have was the movement correct? And that little pat on the back, if you get it right. And Terry's brutal, Terry would be like, no, what was this? It was like Quasimodo ape. I was like, oh dude, I'm exhausted, my fucking shoulder's gonna go out. So it's nice, it's like, it's like having a coach, but he's that for everyone. I'd say he must be exhausted. I never ask him how he's doing, because I'm horrible. How you doing, Terry? Good. He didn't even answer.
Did you have any good anecdotes from the set of this one? Was there any particular moments that stand out in your head?
Clancy had to ride up on, I'd like to talk about the frosted Wolverines.
Well, we play the game, so we
You
know
play the
those
game,
are there.
But for that.
Not a spoiler.
Nice save.
Orcs ride wolves.
So, we're running up on, and Clancy comes up, but it's basically a spring with a pommel horse on the top. So Clancy rides up, he's like, you! And I could not look at him and do the scene. I had to stroke. So in the movie, they're either going to have to animate my head looking at him, but I was stroking my wolf so avidly. I was like, I just stroked a bald patch in him, bless him. I was like, we prefer, and I just, oh man. So that was you know, and it was in the middle of the night. That was at the end of a night shoot, and we had to pick it up. But right beforehand, we have this $5 Friday, so everyone in the crew gives $5. And if you earn more than the ADs, the kind of nice thing to do is to write out a few tags with ADs written on it, fold them up and put them inside. You pay the money as well, don't leave without paying the money. But it was a large pot. And this guy turned up with a cake, a birthday cake. It was for someone else, but it really looked like he turned up with his own birthday cake. And he won $5 Friday. He was like, eh! And then he lit the candles. I was like, is that his birthday? And fucking Clancy was just... And Clancy's huge. You'll see Clancy. So to get him giggling like that is a beautiful thing in life. Yeah, wonderful.
So whose cake was it?
I don't know whose cake it was. We left at that point. I couldn't bear it. And then we went on to shoot that scene. I was like, man, I'm done. I can't. It's a shame Rob's not here, because he is the avid player and he does have all the answers. Like, you know, I learned very quickly with Rob being about, which is a blessing, that you can't bullshit your way through it. You can't be like, yeah, I mean, it's like that bit in... People know. If they're a fan of the thing, they know about it. But Rob was Orgrim right from the start, and at certain points I was like, is he Din or is he being Orgrim? Like, I was like, there's no way. I went, wait, and because I would call him Orgrim, he was like, Orgrim, and I was like, okay, I'm not sure. And so I wanted you to meet him so you could definitively say which it is. But it was so nice to have that work with Rob, you know, to bond like that. And he worked very hard. He understood very quickly those nuances and how important they were. His smiles and little spits and little pieces. And we came up with a couple of nice pieces. There's a bit where we're having a pensive moment on the side of a mountain, and he starts the scene by throwing a stick, and he threw it and it just stuck like in my mouth like a cigarette and landed on the camera arm. So I was, you know, you had to be there moment. He threw it like that, ding, and I was like, what? So yes, and he's one of those people, to sum up who Rob is, he's one of those people who'll offer you a sweet but take it out himself and be like, do you want one of these? No. I'll have one out of the packet. I don't want that one. Do you want this one? No, I'm alright. Thanks, Rob. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Real pleasure. Thank you very much.